Sometimes the real journey is the girlfriend we got along the way. Howdy hole, and welcome to Hole Chat, a girl love and boy love podcast that thinks it's totally normal to whoops yourself into a relationship. I'm your host, Chuck, and with me is a person I purposefully love to spend time with, Keelz.
Hello.
No whoopsing involved. I do this on purpose as often as possible.
I do kind of feel like we were whoopsed into a relationship.
We did. We absolutely fucking did.
We definitely whoopsed ourselves into a relationship.
The true queer woman way is to either whoops yourself into a relationship or pine for ages and not do anything about it and be like, do you think she likes me, but you got married last week? Or, you know, for them to come and hit you like a Mack truck out of nowhere and then you're living together 2 weeks from now. There's really no better way for women-shaped folks to be. And on the topic of that, I got a story for you that is whoopsing all the way down.
And it's this one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It is obviously Pride Month still. It'll be Pride Month for, surprisingly, 4 full fucking weeks. And so I thought doing a coming-of-age lesbian story was going to be right up our alley for this one. Because to all our little baby queers, it's time. You can come out, you can be yourself. Fuck what everybody else says. Accidentally fall in love with somebody that you know.
Mm-hmm.
Rite of passage. So, specifically, I want to go over a story that's one of my favorites. I remember reading it live while it was coming out. Instantly charmed, became obsessed with it. It updated on Thursdays, and so I remember my Thursdays were like, get fed at work and then go home and read about these cute little lesbians doing their thing. It's the right mix of sweetness with drama and like plenty of silly moments too. And it is a thing that I think works really well if you're an adult, but is also good as an all ages comic. It's something I actually could have read with queer themes in it at the age of 12 and it would have been totally fine. And then there's a turn for the extras where it's all smut. So it's good. It's so good for everybody.
So like the main story is like story, and then the extras are all smut.
There's still story in there, like character development is happening in the extras as well, but it's a lot of fucking as well.
Yeah.
So truthfully, as far
making up for what we lost, for what we missed in the.
So we're clear, the author herself says that was her intention. That she got to the end of writing and drawing this and was like, I'm so horny at this point. I need to draw smut for the rest of my life.
Okay.
She got really into it. So today, I want to chat about Sora Haena. It is a 2020 manhwa by Jackbull, and was her first serialized comic, if you can believe it.
Oh.
Yeah, when I read this, I thought, oh, she's done comics before or whatever. This is her first serialized comic. She legitimately fell into it. She was never planning to do webtoons.
Yeah.
Or of any kind, and then she's like, oops, guess I'm good at it.
Yeah, like, I don't remember what this is about, of course. I do remember you shouting about how good this was and being tormented about it. You really did come home, as you said, and were like, I have to read this, I have to.
It's the night. I have to do it.
Yeah. So, surprised it's her first, but, like, good for her.
Mm-hmm. She just really loves lesbians. Okay, well, this one is cute and really enjoyable and really easy to get into, and so I'm not going to waste any time. We're just going to dive right in and talk about cute girls falling in love. So, the comic opens up on the face of a young lady, looking distressed and panicked. She doesn't know any of the people around her, barely knows where she is, and can't understand why she's here. All she does know is that she would like to be rescued and sent home. This poor young lady is Yoon Sora, our protagonist, and someone for whom an afternoon in a karaoke room with strangers might as well be a death sentence.
Oof.
Yeah. But why? Why is she here? Earlier that day, Sora was having a normal day as the top student at J-Il Girls High School. She had again kicked ass in an exam, the practice KSATs, Korean SATs.
Mm-hmm.
And her homeroom teacher had taken her aside to congratulate her. Or really, that was half the reason. She also wanted to make sure Sora's peers aren't bullying or isolating her, since homegirl is always alone. So she clasps Sora's hand and makes an emphatic plea to her to reach out to her fellow students, and if that proves difficult, then to rely on her, the teacher, to help out. So already got established, Sora's alone all the time, to the point that her teacher is worried about her. And, like, granted, there seems to be an emphasis on Korean teachers being very concerned with their students and very involved with them and stuff like that. But it's like, she's the top student in the school. Mm-hmm. One of the top students in all of Korea. You think someone would be, like, fangirling about her or, like, hanging on to her or asking for tips or something. But she just seems to be on her own. Sora refutes the claims of bullying, blushing bright red, before managing to eke out that she has to go to prep school. And then she takes off. Soon she sits alone at the bus stop, having escaped one awkward moment for the afternoon. Because, see, she's not being bullied. In fact, no one ever interacts with her enough to bully her.
Woof.
But no one's ever rude to her, either. And it's not like she just likes her peers. They all seem perfectly nice and interesting. It's just always been this way. Sora's always found reaching out to others too scary of a prospect. It may be her nature, but she definitely likes things to be different. I have tons of pictures for this because I am very obsessed with it. So this is the very first scene of her in the karaoke room, looking extremely distressed and sweating. And then, you know, everyone else is having a good time in the karaoke room, and she looks like this, like, well of darkness, like, please, I'm going to die here.
My God, help me.
This is her teacher, who I'm showing you partially because she plays a bigger role later on in the comic. But also, this is her being like, please let me know if something's going on. Like, yeah. I've totally got you.
The teacher looks like, I will kill someone for you.
Good teacher, very passionate about her. And then there's this, which is showing the timeline of Sora throughout her school life. So, kindergarten, she's by herself. Elementary school, she's still by herself. Middle school, she's by herself. She sees other people having fun. She seems interested, but she's not doing so. She can't bring herself to do it, or for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. But no one's actually trying to ignore her, which is clear. So while she's sitting on the bus stop, 3 of her classmates join her, deep in conversation. Sora reflexively scoots away from them, chiding herself after the fact, but she still does do it. Mm-hmm. Just scoots her little ass all the way to the other side of the bench. She recognizes one of the girls as one of the most popular and beautiful girls in the school, Ah Young. She's so close, and it would be so easy just to say something. Anything. But wouldn't that be awkward?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird to interject someone's conversation?
Yes. Am I supposed to say no?
She's like, well, it'd be weird if I said hello to them right now. Because we saw each other at school and I didn't say hello then, so I can't say hello now. And I'm just sitting here like,
I get her.
So maybe you don't know about it because we've had this conversation before. That's called anxiety. That is called social anxiety. And so I understand Sora 100%. She is totally overthinking.
No, I agree with her.
Looks like everybody's got anxiety in this house. So while I get where Sora's coming from, I don't like to interrupt either. I would be definitely nervous in this situation. It's also like, again, you're like one of the most well-known people in school because of your grades. They are in your class. These are her classmates. These are not random other girls from a different class or from a different year. These are her classmates. You can just, like, stay close to them and say
say a casual hello.
Or, like, not even say hello. Just wave.
Yeah.
Just do a little wave. You know, let them know that you're there.
I just feel like that would be so weird if you haven't talked to them. Like, what really sucks is she hasn't talked to them inside school.
Yeah, so I understand the difficulty, but I also understand the dynamics are a little bit different. Because I know, having gone to American school, if you're not talking to the people in your class, those are choices that you made. But there is a little more, there's a more of an expectation of togetherness in a lot of Eastern schooling. That they're your classmates, so they're kind of automatically de facto your friends, or should be friendly with them. So there's an expectation that your classmates will greet you outside of school, even if they don't know you well. At least give you the nod, you know? Mm-hmm. But I know, me growing up, if I saw somebody that I didn't like outside of school, and my classmate or not, I'm not looking at them. I'm planning their demise, probably, but I'm not going to say, hey, what's up? Mm-hmm. But nevertheless, it doesn't help that they are also talking about social media, a thing that Sora barely uses. And they're also talking about boys. Specifically, boys thrusting you against a wall, grabbing your wrist, and kissing you passionately.
Oh, are they talking about comics they've read. Goodness.
Yeah, they are actually talking about manga when they're talking about K-dramas.
Oh, that's funny.
And specifically, like, a drama where that had happened the night before, and they all watched, and they're like, it was so romantic how he, like, pinned her up against the wall and kissed her passionately, and then later he, like, pat her head gently and, like, sweetly and stuff like that. But just the thought of a boy, man, male, whatever, doing that to Sora sends shivers up her spine.
In a gross way?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Ah. I was just checking, because, like, well...
Yeah. The other girls are going on and on about how romantic it would be, but to Sora, it just all sounds so frightening. There's Ah Young, who she is very pretty.
She's very pretty.
And then this is what she's imagining. Sora's imagining being pinned up against the wall, derogatory, being pat, derogatory.
Oh, yeah. Like, her imagined idea of guys is also kind of gross, too.
Like, it's full-grown men, because she's a sophomore in high school. She's imagining full-grown, like, 30-year-old men. They could be your
fathers.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, girl.
But so she gets super freaked out about it, even just imagining it. Which, I'm probably going to end up saying this a lot, that's the gayest thing she could do right now. Because that's not the only person I've heard who we later found out was, like, a queer woman being like, oh yeah, people kept telling me about how cool it would be to kiss their boyfriends, and I just thought, yuck.
Mm-hmm.
Just as Sora resigns herself to being left out, once again, Ah Young's eyes lock onto her, and she enthusiastically greets Sora. Good, right?
You got it in.
Yeah, exactly. You're here.
Look,
you did it.
Look, this is the savior for all introverts. Now you can say hello back.
Yeah, the outgoing person has said something to you. You got it. Not only do Ah Young and her friends know who Sora is, they invite her out with them to get snacks. This should be an easy win until one of the unnamed girls suggests that maybe Sora doesn't want to chat about boy shit. Which is true. But not when there's an opportunity to finally connect with her peers. She's watching her chance slip through her fingers right before her eyes, but she can't let it go this time. So as the girls discuss whether a classy top student like Sora would be into the plebeian activity of checking out dudes, Sora makes a dumb, desperate decision. She lies. No, I really like talking about this stuff. I have a boyfriend too, you know.
I knew that was going to happen. Everyone does this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've not personally had this experience because I was unfortunate enough to get my period. But I had a friend once who someone was like, yeah, I have my period now. And they go, yeah, me too. And then later they're like, why did I say that? Well, I don't have a period yet. And they panicked about it because like the person was like, yeah, we could try tampons together. And I'm like, I've never heard of wanting to try tampons together.
Nope, absolutely not.
So I call BS on that other girl having a period. But, like, I just remember that was, like, one of my friend's current freakouts. Like, why did I say that? I just wanted to say that I'm a woman, too, I guess. And I'm sitting here like, dog, I got my period in elementary school. It sucks.
Look, everyone has a kid lie at some point. Yeah. You just want to feel like you belong to the group, and that totally makes sense. This is just...
Bless her heart, this still feels like a kid
lie. It is a kid lie, and she's
Everyone
desperate.
Everyone has a boyfriend in Canada if you're from the U.S.
Right,
you know?
right. Oh, and my boyfriend's online. And, like, legitimately, I get it. Because she's desperate, and I feel for her. I really do. She also got
confronted by a teacher, so that probably, like, made her desperate.
Oh, yeah. Dude, if this was my afternoon, especially in high school, done.
Mm-hmm.
Done for the day, done for the week. I will be in my room... reading boys kissing. Don't talk to me.
Goodness.
Well, with this announcement, the other girls descend on her like a pack of large, excitable puppies, each one asking for different details about her so-called relationship. It's a lot of attention all at once, and Sora's thankful when their bus arrives to end the onslaught. Because as much as she wants them to talk to her, this is like going from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
Yeah. But now you have a secret boyfriend you need to tell stories about. Shit, girl.
But as they depart, they do promise to hang out with Sora again tomorrow. Let's fucking go. She's gonna do the friend thing. However, on her own bus ride, reality sets in.
Yeah.
Sora told a huge fucking lie, and there's no way she can keep it up.
Yeah.
She could, on the one hand, tell them the truth that she just wanted to be closer to them. But on the other hand, they might think she's a creepy liar McLiarson.
Do you know how charmed I would be if someone actually was like, no, I just made it up because I wanted to try and talk to you?
I would be too.
Like, this is a harmless thing to lie about. Like, what would be upsetting is if, like, you're like, yeah, my parents are dead too.
Yeah.
You know, that would be an upsetting thing to try and bond over.
No, I would immediately think, like, oh, well, that's sweet. Well, you can just hang out with me. That's not a big deal. So I would be touched. But you don't think other people are going to be like you when you are this anxious. You assume everyone else is going to kill you or stab you with, like, spears and swords when this happens.
Yeah.
So she thinks that they're going to be super creeped out by her. I understand that. This is her on the bus.
Bless her heart. I really like the color style of
the
this.
art's great. But and then here's her little devil and angel. The angel being like, just tell the truth, you can do it. And the devil being like, but if you tell the truth, they'll hate you. And so her angel and devil aren't even really, like, telling her to do a good or bad thing.
It's more like she has an angel and anxiety.
Yes. Both of them are technically anxious, but one's more anxious than the other.
One's mean anxious and one is, like, nice anxious.
Exactly. That's her angel and devil.
So funny.
So she's fucked, basically. If only she had an actual boyfriend, she'd be able to deepen these tentative friendships. She's so lost in thought that she commits the cardinal sin of all anxious people and accidentally says what she's thinking out loud.
Nope.
Just one word. Boyfriend. But it's audible to a young man sitting diagonal from her.
No. No, pause. I'm so embarrassed in front of a boy.
Yep.
Ugh. No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
Me too, girl. Yeah.
This is personally triggering for me.
Yeah. Hey, everyone does this at some point, but it's the worst if you already are having problems connecting with people. So, Sora's instincts kick in, and she gets off the bus at some random stop. Like, just books it. The bus comes to a stop, and she just runs off.
Did the guy acknowledge that he heard her?
We're not even sure, because he pulls out his headphones and he looks up at her, but I don't think he even knows what she said, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, he probably didn't hear her, which I hope that comforts her.
Yeah. Oh, no. She had to pack her shit and leave.
No,
Nothing
I know
comforts
it doesn't.
her.
I'm imagining a world where she's comforted. Like, dude, I can't tell you. I'm having such an introverted day today that I'm just like, oh my god.
So she books it off the bus, and now she's like, well, shit. If I can't even look at a boy without freaking, there's no way that I can keep up this lie.
Ugh.
Now she also has to walk home because she got up.
At the wrong
She
stop.
got off at the wrong stop. So Sora's about to have this big, sad moment where she's crying in the street as she walks the rest of the way home. But there's a hurricane coming.
Like a real storm?
No.
Oh, okay.
A metaphorical hurricane. A stranger wraps her arms around Sora's backpack, physically stopping her in her tracks. A female voice says, "Hey," as Sora slowly looks up into the face of her captor. A tall, light-haired girl stands above her, all smiles and exuberance. She doesn't wait for Sora to respond before asking if she's free right now.
Do they know each other?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Stranger.
Fun.
I mean, Sora has no friends.
No, I just meant like school. I guess.
No, she doesn't know anybody technically at school.
Okay.
She has no friends, no connections. The person who talks to her the most often is her teacher. That's it. Trailing behind this mystery girl are her two friends, who they had to run to catch up to her because she had apparently sprinted off.
Oh boy.
But they are both dressed in the same school uniform as our mystery girl. They call her Haena and admonish her for scaring a middle schooler.
Oh, she's not a middle schooler, is she?
No, she's just very short. Because
Yeah.
the other two girls, like,
Because I noticed that in the drawing, she's very tiny.
she is short, and it's one of those situations where Sora's short, but Haena is super tall as well, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But that is exactly what Sora looks like from an outside perspective, is a tiny little middle schooler, a tiny, shy, timid middle schooler.
Who's currently crying, right?
Who's about to, like, yeah, she's got the tears in her eyes. Some tall, wild girl shaking down a much younger student for cash is what this looks like.
Yeah.
And it's also what Sora believes. And she manages to set her out that she has no cash. So she's petrified and shaking. It's like, I don't have anybody.
I'm embarrassed for everybody here.
No problem, says Haena, because she'll cover her. They just need more people so things will be fun. Those things? A group date and a karaoke room with Sora's current worst nightmare. Boys.
This is where she's at in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So she let a stranger drag her to a karaoke bar.
She's too timid to say no. And also, to be fair, I think Haena probably could have carried her, because this is her grabbing her backpack.
Oh, Hannah's big.
Yeah. She's big. She's drawn very kind of like cat-like lioness. Like, they relate her to a lion a lot in here.
Very much like
because like wild hair, kind of cat-shaped eyes. She's got her one little like
canine.
Yeah, one big canine. So she's very much, a cutie. And so she drags her off to this group date.
Wow.
Hyena's friends do explain to Sora what's going on once they book the room. Since Haena didn't, she just ran around looking for an extra girl and wouldn't explain to anybody why she needed the extra girl. But one of the girls who was supposed to come with them dropped out. They had 4 girls and 4 guys. And so Haena was just going from like teenage girl to teenage girl being like, hey, will you come with me? Hey, will you come with me? Hey, will you come with me? And Sora's the only one who didn't clearly say no or try to get away. So she's like, she's perfect. Let's get her.
God.
One of the girls even encourages Sora to leave if she's not feeling it. So she at least explains to her, like, you can just go. Haena just go how she is. It's fine. No big deal. But the boys enter before Sora can book it. And, my fellow socially anxious buddies, you know if the window of opportunity has passed, you're stuck there for the long haul.
Yeah, she's stuck then.
Mm-hmm.
This would be really weird for me. The thought of being yanked into a group of people I did not know at all and being like, hey, we're going to do karaoke. Like, singing in front of people, yikes,
Mm-hmm.
Like, when it's at a concert, when it's, like, with your friends, sure. But the thought of doing karaoke with strangers to me is the weird part. Like, oh, ugh.
I have been yanked a lot of places.
Yeah.
Against my will.
Uh.
And I had a weird time.
Dude, I had a job try to do that as an icebreaker.
Hell on earth.
Could you imagine?
How dare you?
They're like, they wanted to spice things up and make it feel young and fun.
No.
Yeah. And it's like, let's have y'all do karaoke at a bar that most of us can't go to because we're not 21.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it got thrown out. Because I was like, I'm 16 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It got thrown out. But it was just like, you want us to do what?
Dude, I promise you, icebreakers at work should be like your name and the city you're born in and an interesting fact. It should be like the most chill bullshit stuff that you could find on somebody's Facebook account if you internet stalk them for 2 seconds. Do not make it, let's all do something highly, highly embarrassing together. Let's not do anything with high stakes in front of other people. Let's not do that.
Yeah. Holy shit.
But, so Sora's trapped. And worse, she's forced to sit next to some guy she's never met. She tries to steel herself because this is actually a great opportunity. She could get a boyfriend right here if she can just manage to talk to a boy. Sora's resolve strengthens, and she smooths out her bangs, accidentally catching the attention of the young man next to her, which he thinks like a normal person, that she's cute, and does the polite thing and speaks to her, and then asks her totally normal questions. And he's in his right to do this, because he's at a mixer, obviously. He thinks this is like a group date kind of thing. And the way that she smooths her hair down, it kind of makes her look like she's imitating a cat. And so it's very cute. It's very cute and very charming. And he's just like, oh, I haven't met her before. I know the other girls because we're all from the same school, but I don't know her. Let me just ask how she's doing.
Yeah, so it's fine. This is all wholesome.
There's truly nothing to be afraid of, but anxiety tells you otherwise.
She's just in her own personal hell.
Yeah. Sora's mountain of resolve comes crumbling down, and she sinks into herself. She just can't fucking do it.
Oh, girl.
She's quickly becoming overwhelmed, and her inability to cope is now drawing the attention of others, all of who are concerned, and her vision is closing in, full panic attack likely on the horizon. But there,
this sucks.
a few feet away in front of her, sits Haena, bathed in the dazzling lights of the karaoke room. And suddenly, staring deep into Haena's cat-like eyes, the world widens up, and she can breathe again.
Did falling in love save her from a panic attack?
It's seeing Haena's beautiful face apparently saved her from a panic attack. So here's the dude that sits there. He's not trying to be weird with her. And Haena's encouraging everybody, like, just let's relax and have fun. It's not a big deal. She does a little hair smooth thing, and he does think, like, oh, a cat?
Yeah, I see it.
Right?
She's so small, too.
She's freaking out, and then this is what she sees.
She does look like a cat.
Like, you can...
Hyena really looks like a cat.
Yeah.
Like a lioness.
As she gazes at Haena, and, like, the world kind of falls away, you can kind of hear the shalalalas in the background. Couldn't have picked a gayer moment, but that is what snaps her out of her almost panic attack.
I'm glad she doesn't have a panic attack, because, like, at this point, I just want this girl to, like, get a warm bath and go home.
I agree. The other teens sense that the vibes are weird, and collectively decide to try and reset, with the boys leaving to the bathroom, and Haena's friends going along moments after, leaving Sora and Haena alone in the room. After a bit of silence, they engage in some normal small talk, with Haena finally introducing herself, because she hadn't done that yet either.
Oh, God.
Sora's still a bit tense, though, so Haena offers to help her relax. Sora is more comfortable interacting with girls, so when Haena asks for her hand, she offers it. Haena grasps Sora's hand tightly, pulling Sora forward as she climbs across the table and repositions herself, so that she's sitting on the edge of the table with Sora straddled between her legs. Sora...
Okay. What?
Sora is panicking the whole time, shouting that she doesn't actually need anything and she's sorry or whatever, but she's still thinking she's gonna harm me because maybe she's kind of a thuggish young lady and I've done something wrong. What's going on? Haena reaches forward and gently grabs Sora's face, leans forward, and kisses her.
On the mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
So...
How are we here?
Haena's being chill. She's just looking charming and, like, talking to her. Then she grabs Sora's wrist, crawls across the table, and is like, don't worry, I got a perfect way to make you relax. Kisses her.
Why? You're adorable. She's an adorable looking character, but my brain is just like, why?
So it is just a kiss on the lips, nothing salacious, but it's long.
Why?
So when she finally pulls back, Haena just grins and asks if Sora's calmer. No. Sora asks what the heck is going on, now panicking for a different reason, but Haena's got it under control. She'll just kiss Sora some more until she calms down.
Haena, where did you get this idea? Is
I
that ever
don't know.
answered?
The best I can answer is gay. And I mean that. Gay and stupid. That's the best answer I have for you.
She's a female himbo causing craziness.
A little bit. Rather than calm, however, Sora's feeling something different. Her panic seems to be bordering on excitement.
Oh, you're getting horny.
Haena finally pulls away, claiming this was all just a joke, but also emphasizes how special it is to get kissed by her, since she doesn't just do it to anybody. So, she's doing that thing where it's like, oh, maybe you're not so calm, or maybe this upset you. Well, you know, my kisses are, like, super special and stuff, so you should feel good about it. So you then realize she didn't plan this.
This is such a yaoi trope, but in Yuri, and I appreciate it.
She didn't plan this shit. Her monkey brain is controlling her at this point.
I mean, she look like, honestly, my dumb brain is looking at her, and I just keep thinking, Saiyan?
She does look a charming Saiyan. You're not wrong.
She gives me weird Goku vibes, and, like, this just feels like Goku vibes.
She is a big, strong, tall girl, so I do get it.
Yeah, like, she just feels like Goku, considering Goku was also like, oh, wife, is that a dinner? I'll do that. And then later is like, oh, I guess I will take responsibility since I said I would.
But Haena really is being silly. But Sora's mind is racing as it links together all the boy talk from Ah Young and company with the situation she just experienced. Maybe getting passionately manhandled is good? Maybe I should do this again? Like, she suddenly
but
understanding.
But she's like, it should be with a woman.
So an idea is forming in Sora's mind, and as Haena and her friends prepare to leave, Sora takes a leap of faith and asks Haena for her number. Nope.
Okay.
Haena just says nope. And then goes
Leaves?
along. Yeah, so Sora strikes out. Though at least she wasn't trying to ask Haena out or anything. Because, Sora doesn't know she's gay yet. But it's still that, like, she made an attempt to, like, ask her somebody's number, and it's like, no, you can't have it.
Why? Haena.
This does actually have an explanation. But Haena seems so blasé and curt about it that it just feels like, oh, I've done something wrong. I am wounded. I've had a crazy afternoon and now I'm wounded.
It's a very crazy afternoon, girl.
Well, Sora is treated to her first romantic dream that night. Featuring Haena, though.
That sucks.
So, she's well on her way to figuring out that she's gay.
Oh boy, your gay awakening. That sucks.
She had
It's funny as hell, but it's like, this sucks.
She had a hell of an afternoon. Oh yeah, here's her little feet while she's getting kissed. Sora's little feet are like moving back and forth. Yeah. And this is her immediately after getting kissed.
Girl.
And this is during her dream sequence. This is what she imagines. So she's imagining talking with Ah Young and her friends about like the latest K-drama and the romance that's happening in that. And then it suddenly switches to Haena and like...
Also,
yeah.
It looks like she's imagined Hyena's boobs to be way bigger than they were.
Truthfully.
Like, Haena looks like this a lot, but also she's emphasized her favorite parts, apparently.
Yeah, well, and Hyena's like, her top two buttons are straining.
Yeah.
In the way that, they will over some boobs.
It's so funny. It's so lesbian.
It's really, yeah, good for Sora. I'm proud of her. She'll probably never see Haena again, but the embarrassment still lingers. But, as she, heads into school the next morning, despite her misfortune, she did make a friend connection the day before, and Ah Young is quick to remind her of that. For the first time ever, someone besides the teacher says hello to Sora before class starts. Ah Young even puts a friendly hand on her shoulder, giving Sora something she's never really had before. Casual girl-to-girl intimacy. And I wrote down that Ah Young smells like peaches because Ah Young just like puts her hand on Sora's shoulder and like gets really close to her, and then Sora thinks, oh, she smells like peaches. And again, I'm like, girl,
a little lesbian of you.
You're a little too gay to be like this. This is you were learning in slow motion. Like, because she's so friendless, she's never figured out lesbian feelings.
I actually want to know if like straight women do that too, like where they pick up on a girl smelling nice. Because hear me out, I've been bisexual my whole life. I knew I liked women first and was given a curveball when I realized in 5th grade I liked men too. Let me tell you how much that pissed me off. Because like I knew what a lesbian was when I was young, and I knew what gay was. Did not know what bisexual was. So like when I got the curveball that I could like both, I had a tantrum about it probably for 6 years. Like, I was pretty mad about it, because I was like, are you fucking kidding me? What's this? So, I don't really understand. So, like, I noticed when a girl smelled nice, kind of like how you notice when a guy smells nice, too. But I also wonder is, like, if you are a straight girl, do you also notice when a girl smells nice? Or is that just or is that an attraction thing?
I'm not positive either. Because my experience do not count here. 1 being not full girl, and then 2 being very ace. I will usually tell people now, as like, started telling people when I was a young adult, whether or not they smelled nice, just casually, men and women, to be like, oh, your cologne smells nice, or oh, this smells nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think I normally smell somebody and have a blush creep up my face and think, oh, they smell so good. I think that's the missing part. Is if you have like a fluttery feeling about how good they smell, that might be the thing.
Okay.
And Sora did have a little bit of a flutter, like, oh, she smells so good.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Ah Young doing the whole, like, good morning, and it's
also
sweet.
The girl's super attractive already. Like, it feels like she's the leading character.
Ah Young does embody leading character energy. You are not wrong about that. So after this whole little, like, oh, she smells good, Sora actually has a normal conversation One where she can be honest, which is such a success. Like, she's able to kind of spill to Ah Young, like, you're so cool, and I know your name, and because everybody knows you, and you're such a cool person, and I'm so grateful that you talked to me. And so, good. It goes well. And then Ah Young even invites her to have lunch with her and the other girls, so they can talk more about Sora's boyfriend.
Boys. Yep.
So later, Sora is sitting among 6 other girls, quietly eating her lunch, while the others go crazy talking about boys and who's done what with their boyfriends.
Oh, gosh.
Thankfully, Sora can just listen and nod. She can just kind of sit there because the 2 girls from the day before and Ah Young are there, and then they have 3 other girls, and they are all a tizzy. You put 6 girls at a lunch table in high school, they have a topic of interest.
Yeah.
You're going to have to edge your way in, so she doesn't have to do anything at this point.
Yeah.
Eventually,
you can just sit back and enjoy.
Exactly. Eventually, 3 of the girls return to class, leaving her with just Ah Young and the 2 girls from the previous afternoon. The mood suddenly shifts, and all 3 girls are staring intently at Sora with knowing grins on their faces.
Tell us about your man.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they want to know.
Now that they're alone, they need every single scant detail about Sora's relationship with her boyfriend.
Gosh.
Jeez. Well, Sora needs to tell them the truth, because this is her moment to come clean and explain herself. Obviously, it's set up to where she can just say, hey, actually, guys, I don't have a boyfriend, I'm sorry. But as the girls keep clamoring for info and Sora musters up her courage, another voice rings out and interrupts. Just tell them you lied. Sora and Co.'s heads snap over and behold the speaker, a fellow student that Sora doesn't quite seem to recognize. Her name is Park Jae-in, and she's notoriously known as the school's number 2, right behind Sora. Ah Young flashes a smile and greets her, attempting to be friendly and diplomatic as she explains that Sora does indeed have a boyfriend. Jae-in, however, has no idea what diplomacy means in practice, and tells Ah Young that she knows nothing, she's dumb and annoying, and why the fuck is she spending time with Sora anyway?
Dude, enter evil lesbian, right?
That's what it sounds like for sure.
God.
I will say Jae-in looks like a lesbian because she has a very... You see her in her uniform at this point, and so she is dressed the same way that everybody else is, but she has a very kind of short, spiky haircut. She has, like, thick, like, plastic glasses, like, plastic frame glasses, and when you see her outside of school, she is always wearing, like, a button-up shirt and pants, to the point where, depending on what she's wearing, you can't always tell that she has, like, breast or whatever going on. She is very much, like, a butch queen.
So, like, nerdy butch.
Yeah, she's very much a nerdy butch, yeah. So, she does definitely seem like a lesbian. Will we get there? I don't know. We'll see.
Do you have any pictures of her?
I do think I have a couple pictures of her at this point. Yeah, here are the girls.
Here they are waiting.
For excitement. Here's her. So kind of spiky haircut, thick glasses. Very bland look on her face. She looks very serious. And then this is her later. I will go to detail about that in a second.
That's fine. She totally, like, total butch lesbian, like, could play the male leading in a all-female play kind of thing.
Yeah, there's also a theme in this comic of not realizing you were gay, which fits because high schoolers, but there's a big theme of not knowing they're gay. That's all I'll say.
Alright.
But yeah, so Jae-in tells Ah Young essentially to fuck off. And then the conversation is on its way to a full-blown screaming argument when Ah Young whips around to face Sora and encourages her to say something. Because Sora's just in the background, like, wilting under all of this because she had just gotten her resolve together and now people are fighting and Jae-in is saying the truth that she really doesn't have a boyfriend, so she's panicking.
Yeah.
So when Ah Young turns to face her, Sora just...
lies again.
Yeah. She spills the beans on her relationship, explaining how she kissed her boyfriend at karaoke. Ah Young and the girls lose it, because who knew the honor student was also this forward? Jae-in quietly makes an exit, while Ah Young dramatically falls against Sora, absolutely in awe of her coolness.
That's cute.
But Sora lied again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the lie is worse, and the closest she is to backing it up is with a girl who refused to communicate with her.
Yeah.
Later that afternoon, Sora quickly makes a social media account and furiously begins searching for the elusive hyena. So she has no social media at all.
Mm-hmm.
So she just got it to see if she could hunt Haena down. This is a thing that she's also deciding to do during prep school. So she should be paying attention to the teacher and shit. She's like, no, I need to find this girl immediately.
Oh, man. Well, she probably doesn't even need prep school. She seems really on it.
She is, yeah. This is also the same prep school that she's attended with JN for God knows how long.
So JN's glaring at her like, what the fuck?
Yes, and JN's like glaring daggers at Sora from several seats behind her.
Oh,
and we
no.
don't know why.
For real, she's doing it.
Yeah. So Sora had been like, yeah, JN looks familiar, but I don't know who she is. Knew that she was in class with her, but did not know that she was in prep school with her. Had no idea, and it's been years at the same academy.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
JN and her weird hate boner be damned, she can't stop her search. She needs to meet up with Haena. Sora finally finds her right as class ends, giving her the perfect opportunity to reach out. Hell yeah.
How did she find her? Like on social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure she downloaded one of the social media apps that allows you to connect with other students and stuff like that. Because I know in like Korea, Line's really popular, and like they encourage students to use that to actually talk to each other inside and outside.
Yeah,
of
our
class
college tried it for a brief minute, but they also didn't tell anyone how to fucking use it.
And also, American students are built different.
Yeah.
And built different, maybe derogatory and maybe sometimes positive, but whatever.
Yeah.
So she finds her, and now all she has to do is send her a non-creepy, unimposing, friendly, and concise message, which is a lot to do when you are this anxious.
Yeah.
So she texts and deletes several messages as she walks home, unable to find the proper words. She's just about to give up when she has a little oopsie and hits the call button.
Oops.
Being unversed in the ways of social media apps, she can't seem to end the call fast enough, and Haena picks up. Weirdly enough, Sora hears her in stereo. She glances over to the park next to her, and there Haena is, sitting on a swing, phone to her ear. Upon seeing her, Sora immediately asks for her number, which is not relevant, because the app also can call her. Bless Sora's heart, honestly.
Why are you asking for her number?
We're gonna get to that.
And why did she reject you?
We're gonna get to all of that. Eventually, Sora takes a swing next to Haena, so they can actually talk to one another. She apologizes for calling, even though Haena hadn't been cool with giving her a number the day before. So she's feeling like, oh, I overstepped a boundary by calling you anyway. But Haena laughs it off, having seemingly forgotten, but then explains herself. She is from Bangwon Academy, and Sora is from JL, two schools that are on complete opposite ends of the spectrum. Problems usually arise when students from both schools interact, because she didn't want to cause issues for herself or Sora by getting closer to her. Because Bangwon is basically like the delinquent school. It has a really, really bad history. They go in detail later that this is sort of school where like teachers were selling children alcohol at school. And folks were regularly fighting and driving vehicles in school. So really, like, the school looked like shit for a very long time. So terrible reputation. And then JL is like prestigious all-girls school. Only smart girls get in there kind of thing.
Yeah, so she was just like, we're from two different worlds, so we shouldn't be friends.
It's more that, like, Haena's very friendly and outgoing. She has tried to befriend girls from that school before, just, like, say hey to them. But it's to the point where, like, local authorities have come by and been like, oh, are these, Bangwon girls bothering you?
Wow.
Kind of thing. So it's to that point. And then, like, since they all have this reputation, a lot of the girls from Sora School don't like the Bangwon girls at all. And so the fact that they're even hanging out is kind of a big deal. Like, socially for them.
Is this, like, based on some true thing?
They do express later on in the comments that some of the kids were, like, going to be criminals from that school when they got out. So no, like, it legitimately is established that it's that bad. Almost to a cartoony point.
Yeah,
is it that bad? Like this comic stays very much in the silly zone as well.
Yeah.
So some of the kids there were cartoonishly delinquent.
Cartoonishly evil villain.
Yes, exactly. Which makes the extras really fucking funny, but we'll get there. So this is why Haena didn't want to reach out to her. It had nothing to do with Sora. It was just like, oh, I don't want to cause trouble for you or myself. And mostly just for you, because this could be a thing. So that's why she said no. But now that Sora's here, right in front of her, Haena asks some questions about prep school. Specifically, the one that Sora goes to. Because Sora's face is on all the flyers for the prep school.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
She's their top student at the prep school as well.
Yeah.
And so they're using that to advertise.
That makes sense.
So the school advertises getting anyone into a top college. But that's gotta be a scam, right? And do they take dumb students too? In any case, Haena is certain that Sora is way cooler than her and says as much. Because to her, obviously Sora having all these like academic accolades is cool as hell. And I agree, Sora's cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's confirmation that Sora isn't hated, so it's the perfect time to ask for a favor. Which he blurts out at full force, rendering Haena speechless for a moment. Eventually, Haena asks if she's thirsty, and they move to a more ideal location for discussing things in depth. Sora tells Haena the whole sordid story about how she accidentally on purpose lied to get friends, which has Haena rolling with laughter.
God.
It was such a bold move for an obviously timid little lady. It's just funny to think about.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably laugh too.
Yeah, because it's not mean-spirited.
It's not. I'd be very sympathetic. I am very sympathetic to her situation, because it's just like, girl, everything that can't go wrong and make you nervous is happening.
Mm-hmm. But what is it that Sora needs from her? Well, Sora explains that the kisses they shared in the karaoke room were shocking, but actually felt really great and made her heart race.
Oh, God.
So that makes Haena the perfect person to teach her how to get a boyfriend.
No.
The logic here, it doesn't make a complete loop.
When you're a kid, though, man.
Yeah.
Look, my logic as a child who realized I like girls, when the boy subject came up, I was like, well, if I like both, I get to choose. That is the logic I went with for years, until I was like, I really don't get to choose. I'm making myself unhappy.
But this is still kind of a crazy thing to say. So Haena rightfully stares at her blankly, because that makes no damn sense.
She's so cute.
Like, okay.
But she does look like a Saiyan. But yeah, she's very cute. But like my brain just keeps going, Super Saiyan. Like my brain just yells when it sees her. Where's her tail? Is she going to power up?
I think she could be a Super Saiyan. You're not wrong. So she just stares at her blankly. Sora hastily explains that since Haena knows how to attract people and make them excited, then she could study her ways and find a real-life boyfriend. So all of this just sounds gay to me as an adult person. You know how to attract people and you know how to make them excited. So I'll learn. Young. And it's like, no, girl, you're almost there. You're so close. It's weird, maybe, but Haena's in and agrees. But she wants something in return that only Sora can give. She needs Sora to get her into college, to teach her how to study.
Cool.
Sora immediately looks depressed. She assumes that Haena is telling her no in a roundabout way, because there's no way she's qualified to teach anybody. So it's this little scene where she's like, oh no, okay, why can't you just reject me like normal? Because I can't teach her. I'm not good at this.
You're dumb.
Right,
You're
I know.
Smart
I
kid.
know. But Haena is dead serious. Prep Academy doesn't seem like the right fit for someone like her, who's starting at the bottom. But Sora is so impressive and good at studying, Haena is certain she can learn something. Unless, of course, she's a lost cause. That is absolutely not the case. Because, like, so Haena's doing the whole, like, well, unless you think I can't do it.
Yeah.
And Sora's like, oh, no. Fuck you. That's not the case.
I will help you.
She wouldn't say fuck you, but she's just like, no, wait a second. Anybody can study. Anybody can do this. It's not a you thing. It's a me thing. But she assures Haena that she can definitely get into college with hard work. And even if she's not the best teacher, she'll try her damnedest to help.
Nice.
So they have an agreement. Haena will help Sora get a boyfriend, and Sora will help Haena get into college. They seal the deal with a pinky promise, signaling the start of a new adventure.
I thought you were going to say a kiss again, and I was like, girls, y'all got to stop kissing.
I mean, after what's happened, yeah, that's totally fair.
Yeah, after all the kissing, it's like, girls, don't do that again. Like, if you want to pretend to be straight, you got to stop the kissing.
Yeah, here's your little pinky promise. Because Sora actually grabs Haena's hand with both hands. Like, she wraps her pinky around and then grabs her with the other hand as well. It just kind of...
It's very cute.
It's good visual storytelling, too, because you just can see how earnest Sora is. At every little action she has, you can tell how earnest she is.
Do you remember that meme that someone made on Tumblr years ago where it shows, like, a hoish looking girl stops to picks up a book and then she turns into
yeah,
a
of
nerd.
course. Yeah.
And then do you remember how people
They were shipping the nerd with the hoe girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, with a thought? Yes.
That's who
yes.
they look like. This looks like it's
They kind of do. You're
this
right.
looks like it's a comic about them.
Yeah. I would say Haena wears more clothes than the thought in that
But they have
meme.
the same kind of
that
hairstyle, right?
It's that vibe because, like, yeah, because she's tall and, like, kind of voluptuous and dresses really fashionable. And then you have Sora, who's very, like, kind of meek and bookish. And, yeah, it does have that vibe. I truthfully wonder
if
Jackbull saw that meme and said, I can make some gays out of that.
I think she did. Like, jokingly, I'm going to say she did. Because, like, I've been sitting here going, like, it's not just a Saiyan she reminds me of. Like, it's so stupid, but I'm like, these girls make me think of something. And yes, Saiyan comes to mind. Like, it feels like she's like a female Broly or something. But then I was like, what else am I missing? It's that meme. They look like the embodiment of that meme.
That's totally fair.
Oh, her outfits are cute.
Oh, I love Hyena's outfits. I talk about that later, but I love her outfits. She's
Hyena's
so
got good fashion.
She's so cute. So as she walks home that evening, Sora can't quite believe what she's gotten herself into. She's nervous that this wild situation will actually work out in her favor, but it's the best option she's got. Also, something that she's seemingly ignoring is that she was able to reach out to a relative stranger and talk to them like a normal person.
Yeah, she did a good job.
So she's very much winning, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like she got outside of her comfort zone, gave herself a little push. This is a very comical way to fall into it, but it feels like self-improvement.
Yeah, like, I'm super proud of her at this moment. It's like, you did it. You befriended somebody in a roundabout way. She comes across J.N. She passes a convenience store and clumsily greets her. J.N. interrogates her, asking why she's not already home, before telling her to not lose focus and just keep doing what she's been doing. That's weird.
Okay.
So yeah, she comes out and then J.N. is like, Academy ended hours ago, aren't you home yet? And it's like, why do you know that? Like, I know you... Like, why do you know that she should be home? This is kind of weird. It's just a little inkling.
Yeah. This is weird.
That Saturday begins the combination boyfriend acquisition and college acceptance studying. And it's time for both girls to lay all their cards on the table. Like how Haena didn't know she actually has to study to get into college.
Oh.
There's no tricks, just hard work and memorization all the way down. And Sora discovers that she'll actually have to talk to and or touch dudes to, date a dude.
Yeah.
They are both woefully ill-equipped for the challenges they're taking on, but neither one will give up on the other. Their study date lasts the whole day as they take time to not only set up one another for success, but to learn about each other in earnest. It's a beautiful start to a beautiful lesbianism. The whole day, like, they're supposed to meet up at the library because Sora's going to study for a little bit, and then she's going to teach Haena how to study. And Haena does several things that I'm like, you're already setting up your gay, because, like, one, she's early to meet Sora, but then when they're in the study area at the library, Haena just is so charmed by Sora, and is like, she's got such a serious little face, because normally when I meet her, she's freaking out, but she's got such a serious little face, and I find it charming, and she's, like, nuzzling into her and doing all that overzealous, like, female intimacy stuff, and it's very cute. And there's JN, by the way, behind them.
Why is JN here?
Well, I did forget to mention that JN's there, too, kind of stalking them.
JN's been stalking Sora from the beginning, hasn't she?
Maybe.
Oh, no, that's why she knew about the non-boyfriend.
Uh-huh. But Sora and Haena have all these nice little moments, and, like, it's really sweet because Sora explains to her the studying and brought her all these materials, and then is helping her do this, and, like, Haena's supposed to go meet with her friends at some point. Like, she's only supposed to study for a couple hours and then go meet with her friends. But she blows off meeting with her friends so that she can continue studying because they're actually having a good time together. And Sora believes in her. And no one ever really believes in her in this, like, secret way that she feels insecure about, like, thinking that she's smart enough to do this. And it's cute because Sora has, like, a little booklet that she'll write, that she used to use to write her goals in. And then anytime she reached a goal, she put a sticker on it.
That's
so
cute.
she gives Haena her old sticker book to use and writes down goals for her. And Haena's like, no, that's really cool, thank you. And I was like, y'all are adorable.
That's a cute little motivator.
And then Haena ends up doing the same thing for Sora, but it's like all goals that she has to, like, get a boyfriend. But they they meet up at like 10 a.m. and they don't part from each other until like 6 p.m. that evening. Like, they end up like eating meals together and stuff like that. And so it's very, very charming. And JN is following them the whole time. Yeah. So every place that they go that day, she is following them, and I'm like, girl, what's going on? But as good as this is all going, what will happen to our dedicated young students? Will Sora actually get a boyfriend? Can Haena improve her grades? Is it possible for Ah Young and Sora to remain friends? And is Jae-in really that much of a fucking weirdo? No, yes, and holy shit, yeah, she is.
Yeah.
All with more gay girl tropes than you can shake a stick at.
Man.
Yeah. And this is only like 51 chapters before they get into...
2 extras?
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's not a super long read. It is, I think, a good medium-sized read.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of this easier. Which makes all the embarrassment easier, I think, to swallow for sure. But let's jump into these characters real quick. And then we'll dive in a little bit deeper.
Okay.
So, of course, we have Yoon Sora, who is a sophomore at a prestigious all-girls academy and one of the smartest students in Korea. She's incredibly timid and shy, to the point that she begins the comic friendless and isolated.
Bless her.
Her social anxiety is so very relatable, and you learn, over time, that she's exacerbated her own problems by massively overthinking, as you do when you're anxious.
Yes.
She studies to distract herself, which has definitely worked in her favor and taught her that anything can be achieved with the appropriate amount of effort. She's kind, sensitive, thoughtful, and has unending belief in others. She's also the biggest lesbian that ever lesbianed, and proves that again and again. She's obviously smitten with Haena, even though she hasn't figured that out yet.
Bless her heart.
Truthfully, day one, she's smitten.
Yeah.
Because she really does go through all the, she goes through all of the romantic tropes that you would see in, a shoujo manga, but it's for a girl.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she doesn't get it because she doesn't really read comics or watch stuff.
It also reminds me of, early soft, yaois. What are those called? Shonens, I guess?
Shonen eyes?
Shonen eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, the whole, let me kiss you to calm me down. I have seen that in Shonen eyes so many times. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna kiss you. I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna put my arms around you, and it's gonna calm you down, and we'll have this nice little bubble moment, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just okay.
It only works if you're not gay.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And then we have Woo Haena, who is a junior at a high school for kids with problems, and she is the female lead. She is incredibly friendly, outgoing, and exuberant. She's the sort of person you want to hang out with to have a good time. She's kind in her own right and quite generous with friends and strangers. And she's the sort of person who will pay your way no matter who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And really, she doesn't think that she's as kind as she is, but she never looks down on other people. She's very popular in her school, but she reaches out to everybody. There's no one is off her list as far as reaching out to and having a good time with.
Yeah.
She dislikes being alone and tends to spend as much time out of the house and with friends as possible. She's not dumb by any means. She's just never been encouraged to apply herself. She's also obviously smitten with Sora, but she constantly plays herself about it.
Yeah. You said something that caught my attention. She tries to stay out of the house. Is that going to be a plot relevant?
Extremely plot relevant.
Yeah, the moment you said that, I was like, uh-oh.
It gets pretty obvious about halfway through, because she never seems to be at home, and then she has weirdly low self-esteem for being a very well-liked person. Mm-hmm. You start putting some stuff together. It's not a total surprise, but it's still, it's slow. Then we have Ah Young, who is also a sophomore and is considered among the prettiest girls at her school. She is charming and seems to effortlessly get along with everyone. She's a serial dater and very much boy crazy, but she's really just kind of lonely. She's a great friend to Sora and was just as excited to become her friend as it was the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot more to Ah Young, but I think...
Does it give too much away?
I think it gives too much away because there's a lot going on with her, and part of it gets tied up into her really long arc that she has in the extras.
Okay.
So I'll leave it there, but I really do appreciate her character and some of the things that she gets into. She would also probably push Jae-in into the street. Probably.
Jae-in probably deserves it.
Mm-hmm. She also plays herself a bit, but in a platonic way, the extras notwithstanding. She plays herself there too.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But in the main story, she does still end up playing herself in a very specific kind of platonic way.
Mm-hmm.
Park Jae-in is another sophomore at Jae-il High School and also one of the smartest kids in Korea.
And girl looks like something's wrong with her.
She has a massive chip on her shoulder about being the best at everything, which is morphed into a weird worship of Sora, since she's the only one to have ever bested her.
Like, this feels mean to say about someone, but she gives stalker vibes. Like,
yeah.
Even without you hinting that she might be a stalker, she's giving it.
I'm not hinting it, she is.
Woof.
She's off-putting, has low empathy, and was probably one step from becoming a sociopath before the events of this comic. She's never afraid to say what's on her mind, and she does play a helpful part in the story. She's just challenging.
Woof.
She seemingly hates Ah Young, and is also very obviously having complicated lesbianic feelings, but that doesn't get resolved for years.
Oh, Carl.
Her room is also a shrine to Sora.
Oh, yeah, you're Helga from Hey Arnold.
She does. She is. But Helga, I think, has moments of clarity and is nicer, and she knows what's going on. J.N. does not know what's going on.
Helga's also 10.
Yeah, Helga's 10 and doesn't and knows what's going on. J.N. doesn't.
If you're a little weirdo at 10 with a little shrine to the person you have a crush on, you can come back from that.
Uh-huh.
I think if you're doing it in high school, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, also, and like, Helga's got more depth than that, too. Like, she's got other things going on as to why she is the way that she is.
Yeah.
And just really, I'm not kidding. They mentioned that they thought that she was going to become a sociopath at one point, and I believe it.
Gosh.
She was very close. I'm going to introduce a couple of other characters that are important enough to get named, but they do not come up until a little bit later. One is the, one boy. Unwoo is a freshman from Bangwon and also attends the same prep academy as Sora and JN. He's a sweetheart, an Instagram star, and the goal of Sora's boyfriend lessons. So,
okay.
Yeah, Haena ends up saying, you need a major goal to have, and that should be to get a boyfriend, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then she finds a good boy for Sora to be with, and it happens to be Unwoo. And so she's like, well, what if you date this guy, because I kind of have connection to him, blah, blah, blah. And so that's how he gets involved. He's very sweet. I do want good things for him also.
Okay.
Unmi is Unwoo's older sister and fellow Bangwon High student. She's a big Haena fan, platonically, and is unknowingly both an antagonist and a catalyst for some of Sora's boyfriend shenanigans.
Okay.
Because she's a very overprotective older sister.
Right.
But some of the things she does ends up pushing things further into the boyfriend zone and further out of the boyfriend zone. She doesn't know what she's doing either. And I also want her to have good things, but,
Yeah.
It is what it is. Sora and Haena's homeroom teachers also play a decent role in here as well, in addition to a handful of other students that have left an impact on our mains, but they come much later, and they don't all have, really long-standing situations. They're all generally very cool, though, especially there's a big, muscly woman.
Hey.
Like a Mack truck of a woman that comes into play later on.
Nice.
And she also has a big role in some of the extras as well.
Cool.
Haena's mom shows up, too, I guess.
Oh, you use the voice.
Hmm?
You use the someone's trifling voice.
What do you mean?
So, Haena's mom. Look, I'm already guessing home life ain't great, because, you just were she tries to stay out of the house. Yikes.
It is both not as bad as you're thinking and worse than you're thinking in a weird way.
Yeah. 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 I get you. I don't know what it is, but I get you. Because, when you tell me it's not going to be something I'm going to be well, that's better than what I thought. It'll just be, but I get you.
It's better than what you thought, but it made me mad.
Yeah.
And I think it makes everyone else who reads this mad as well.
Honestly, anything being done wrong to Haena would probably make me mad. No joke. Haena is that embodiment of best girl energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's so sweet and earnest.
I agree.
She has big dumb himbo energy, but as a woman,
yep.
I'm sorry.
Yep. I'm also smitten. Don't worry, I get it.
Yeah.
So, Sora and Haena is great in that it is both about love and coming of age. Both girls have their own individual goals that they want to achieve that technically have nothing to do with smooching. Sora purely wants a boyfriend so that she can make genuine friends and stop lying to them. And Haena really does want to improve her grades, though she finds out her true motivation is a bit different than what she thought. So while you're cheering for these girls to do a smooch, you're also rooting for them to achieve their other goals. It is such a delight watching them grow to be better versions of themselves and how their successes positively affect those around them. Sora slowly coming out of her shell feels like watching a close friend overcome their anxiety because you really end up caring about her. I know, like, partially this is because I empathize with her, but I was really excited every time she made a new friend or she got closer to someone or she handled a difficult social situation. I'm pumping my fist and cheering.
Yeah.
Haena, too, learning to open up more and find belief in herself is so encouraging because she deserves to feel like she's a cool person. And it feels crazy that she thinks for a second that she's not capable of, like, applying herself. She's so cool.
Yeah.
And they support each other through all of it. Haena and Sora are each other's biggest fans and cheerleaders throughout the entire comic, which, of course, helps create a good, strong base for their future relationship. And I know I say this all the time, but I love when a couple grows together, and they absolutely do that.
Yeah. I think that's really important that a couple should grow together. I'm not saying, like, it needs to be, like, big, huge turnaround things, but, like, just you getting more confidence in yourself or, like, being able to conquer studying. I think that's an important thing to grow with someone.
Yeah, you don't need to steal the Declaration of Independence and kill your father in a Highlander-style manner to grow together in a relationship. Yeah. You can do small stuff, too.
It doesn't have to be that dramatic. It's just nice to see it.
Yeah. But again, their growth is also a trigger for other characters to grow. JN has the most obvious growth as she slowly transforms from an obsessive, accidentally hilarious weirdo into someone who slowly becomes healthily attached to several people her age. She learns to walk her ship back a bit and finally approaches something resembling a normal rivalry with Sora. Her relationship with Ah Young is also very important to helping her develop some resiliency for people, but also empathy no matter how much the two argue. Because I'm not going to downplay that JN isn't a fucking weirdo and a creep for a large chunk of this.
Like, the whole comic is just, like, every scene of her, I'm like, girl, you just...
But she is both kind of uses comic relief because she's so over the top.
Yeah.
But you are...
No, I'm not getting, like, horror movie vibes. Yeah. But, like, you're looking at a comedy and going, dude, no.
Yeah, but there is that concern, like, oh, you've had something happen to you and no one knows about it and you kind of need to open up about it. You kind of need to figure your stuff out.
Yeah.
But I actually really appreciate the turn that she makes as the comic continues on as well. Like, you can dislike her if you want to, but I do think that she makes some really good strides in being a better version of her own self as well, and kind of becomes, like, more of an anti-hero. Like, Hyuga reference again. It's like everybody wants to go to the arcade and they bring Kaiba along. Mm-hmm. She kind of becomes that person in the group.
Okay.
But I love that for her because it's very much what she needs. And Ah Young's growth journey is pretty refreshing because the character role that she inhabits is the perfect girl with the perfect life. And rather than give her some insane sordid backstory or make her borderline psychopathic with an evil streak, she's played really earnestly. She is actually lonely because everyone immediately likes her, but she doesn't actually feel close to anyone. And she struggles with that part of herself that wants more when she appears to have so much already. It's such a real and honest struggle, and she never comes off as disingenuous or snotty. She's just really normal about it. Mm-hmm. So she's got pretty girl syndrome where it's like no one really is seeing her.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, I'm glad to be around her. So she's got a lot of friends, but they're like surface level friends.
That's a really nice story to tell. I've had some people disagree with this where they're like, we don't want to hear about how the pretty girl is doing. And I'm like, no, you don't want to hear how the pretty girl is doing in the sense of, I don't understand how everyone loves me. You don't want to hear that. But, like, loneliness... Mm-hmm. From, you do want to hear that it's like not everything's great if you're pretty, because like again I've talked about this before, I think, where we mentioned that we knew someone who was very, very pretty and they realized one day like people didn't think that they could do anything because they were pretty. Mm-hmm. And I think we've talked about it before, but like that was a good perspective for me to learn as someone who's not been traditionally pretty. Mm-hmm. Because she was just like, yeah, most people think I can't do anything. They just assume I'm dumb. And, like, that never occurred to me that a pretty girl is just, people are just like, well, you're stupid. But, like, I was young. I'm not thinking that. But,
Yeah.
like, that is true. Like, you see movie tropes about it. The dumb, pretty blonde bimbo, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, it's nice to have, like, a pretty girl being like, yeah, I'm, like, everyone likes me. Everyone thinks I'm great. But no one's really caring to know me. They just are kind of my fan.
Pretty privilege is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
And it is even addressed a little bit that people think that Ah Young is just boy crazy and ditzy sometimes, but she is in a elite all-girls school you have to be very smart to get into.
Yeah.
So even amongst them, she has good grades.
Yeah.
She's in like the top 20 of the school or something stupid like that. But
Yeah.
that's not regularly addressed, and she plays it off too because she doesn't want to make people uncomfortable. So it's very interesting the way that her story plays out as well.
Yeah, I definitely, like, I think this is important to hear. The point is, everyone's struggling. Pretty, ugly, fat, skinny, gay, straight, doesn't matter. We should all hear all of it. And there's going to be tropes that is always going to, like, be out there that kind of hurts someone in that manner. So, like, be aware of them. Like, you don't have to stop them. A story is a story.
Yeah.
But be aware of them.
Yeah.
And don't put them on in real life.
And this is something that I really appreciated about this comic. All the girls felt a lot like people that I know or have known. I've struggled personally to connect with female characters in shoujo comics before, but I really felt for each one of these girls and saw a bit of myself in them. Because normally I'm looking at a shoujo heroine, I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this is. I've never had these feelings before. But each one of them I thought, like, I know them or I understand where they're coming from. And that's a mark of good storytelling and character development. These girls have some complicated feelings and issues going on, and yet they're very relatable, especially to the teenage version of you. I just have Haena's mom mentioned in parentheses. Haena does some stuff later on in the comic in relation to her mom that seems kind of heinous, but as an adult looking back on what a teenager would do in that situation, I think she's 100% relatable for that too. And I know at least one child who was in the situation that Haena was in.
Oh, wow.
That they did make a similar choice to that, and I respect them for it. It was weird as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, you know what, I get it. And so that's even the thing, is like, even something that seems upsetting in the grand scheme of the story, I'm like, oh, I get it, because you're a teenager and this is going on, so of course you do that. It feels relatable.
It's a very good coming of age story then.
Yeah. And there aren't really any villains in here, because the true antagonist is puberty, which is a son of a bitch. And also probably social anxiety for Sora, for sure. And maybe also heteronormativity, since neither Sora or Haena ever considered girls as an option. But I appreciated that too. Jackbull puts in a ton of scenarios and scenes that directly speak to queer girls and their queer feelings. Sora is such an obvious lesbian because she's experiencing struggles that real lesbians have gone through. I definitely know people that found the mere thought of holding hands with a boy to be gross, but didn't figure out why for a long while.
Or like they thought that feeling would go away.
Like, oh, I'm just too young, and then when I hit 16, I'll suddenly think boys are cute. Yeah.
I was too smart for my own goddamn age. I guess it's because, like, I knew of gay relationships as a child. But, like, I'm just sitting here going, like, my dumb little child self would be like, I don't want to hold a boy's hand. Proof that I'm a lesbian. Like, my little child brain was like, more proof. I can't tell you how mad I was in 5th grade when I got a crush on a boy. And to this day, I remember his name and his height and his eye color and hair color. Like, all that stupid shit that you remember when you get a crush on someone. And it's so silly because I was furious. I was like, are you kidding me? I have had a crush on girls since 3rd grade. I figured out I liked girls. I made my peace with it. And now what's this? I was so mad.
I don't know if it's so much that this information is lingering because you had a crush on him, or if it's more that you have a vendetta against him.
Yeah, it's like, I love him so much. Like
that's
what happened.
You would hit him with your car, but then you call the ambulance right after.
You know, we met again in college. I was like, oh my god, it's fucking him. And I was really nervous that I was going to have that fluttering feeling of a crush on him, or that I was going to kill him. I was worried for both. I was worried that I'm like, oh no, I'm going to really be in love with him again or kill him. No, it was fine. It was great.
I also know how socially accepted female intimacy can both be the savior and enemy of queer women everywhere, which is all throughout this fucking comic. Because there's nothing quite like holding hands with your crush and then not knowing if it means more or if you're just the bestest best friends. And that is illustrated perfectly here. Because of all this, Sora and Haena's relationship is obviously a slow burn, but at 51 chapters, it's not excruciating.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many truly beautiful moments between the two that you stay nourished until the end. There is, of course, teenage angst in here, too, because pining sucks, and there's no way a group of teenagers is going to get things right 100% of the time, but the pain is worth it in the end, even if you get mad and or bawl your eyes out about it. Luckily, you can binge this whole thing instead of waiting week to week, like I had to.
Right.
I do also have to shout out Jackbull for her art. The story is a banger, but the art matches the vibe so well. The style itself is very reminiscent of Azumanga or Yotsuba, the guy who does that.
Yeah.
And much like those comics, their relatively simplistic shapes leave a lot of space to draw out some big emotions. The sweet moments look sweeter. The funny moments are even more hilarious. And JN looks so unhinged all the time.
Like, every time you see her, she does kind of feel like a cartoony villain. In that way, like in, 100 Days of Summer, where the doctor was the villain, but you're also like, you need a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your mom and your family were pretty mean to you. You need a hug, dude.
She also never skimps on the details, which help to create a rich visual narrative. I know that Haena is fashionable, because she's constantly wearing something different and consistently matches her nail color to her outfits. You also know that she's got quite a bit of expendable income because of that. That's a lot of info to glean just based on how a character dresses. It is clear that Jackbull was really cooking with this one.
Yeah, this is a really cute story. Like, I'm just listening to it. It's very cute.
Mm-hmm. Ultimately, I finished this comic and I was on the verge of tears, with a full heart and swelling with pride for how far this cast of characters had come. Every single character mattered in some way, and you end up happy that they come out on the other end doing okay for themselves. Even after the wealth of extras and side stories, you still end up feeling the same, that these fake people deserve the happiness they worked for. And maybe it encourages you to believe that you deserve some happiness too.
Oh, that's a nice little roundabout.
So, if you want a charming, adorable, and extremely sapphic good time, Sora and Haena is a must.
Okay.
You can find it on Lezin, Tappy Toon, Tapas, Pocket Comics, Manta Comics, and Comic-Key. Though, if you want to read all of the side stories, including the smutty ones, I would recommend Lezin, Tappy Toon, or Manta. You're going to want to read the porn, I promise you.
So the smut doesn't start until the side stories.
Yeah, she keeps it completely all ages until the side stories, and then she's like, oh no, they're fucking.
Okay.
And they're fucking.
Okay.
I was very impressed.
Good for
I
them.
didn't know what to expect, and then I was like, okay, you can keep cooking, girl, you got it. Sora and Haena contains bullying, mild stalking, heteronormativity, absent parents, parental issues, obsession, mildly, big teenage feelings, and more queer girl feelings than your body can handle. But otherwise, it's very low stakes. Nothing truly terrible happens. I think,
it feels very coming of age.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to add. I would say...
Cringe?
I would say there is a side story that is specifically about JN and Ah Young. That, I think, is a little more intense, but the same kind of warnings still apply. I would just say that there's a different tone to that side story. It's a little more grown up, but they're also grown ups at that point. So, there's a time skip involved, so things are a little bit different. I will also say that one of the sides, the side story that focused the most on Sora and Haena had me rolling because they lesbian themselves too hard.
Oh gosh.
Because I'm always saying, like, you either are taking forever to see, like, oh, does she like me? Or, you're already moved in with her. They do some weird combo, and when I find out that they were not doing something very specific, I nearly lost my mind. Because I couldn't believe it, and no one else could either when they eventually told them. So, but side stories are very good, just very smutty. So, is there a whole rating? You got me a little whole rating here?
Yeah, so whole rating. This is, again, one of those that kind of falls, like, I'm drawn in. I almost don't want to give it what I would call a whole rating. I want to give it like a good story rating. Because again, there's not like a lot of smuttiness and not a lot of lusty moments. It's like a younger story. Not in a bad way. This is still a great story. Like, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Like, I can't give it a perfect 10 out of 10 just for embarrassment reasons.
Because you're weak.
I'm weak to cringe and embarrassment, and, like, I'm so embarrassed. I would still read this, like, no joke. And I'd probably be fine once I read it as a whole. But it's just one of those things where it's like, oh, man, I don't want to remember awkward high school or middle school moments. Let's get out of here. So, like, that's it. But I feel like it's 9 out of 10 as a good story. As a whole rating, I don't know. Like, if you are here just looking for, like, smutty, lusty stories, maybe this one isn't it. But if you're here looking for just, like, a genuinely good coming-of-age story, a good sapphic moment where no one dies at the end, this is for you.
We're going to put a pause in here real quick.
Are you going to show me some
And I'm
smut?
going to show her some of the porn.
That way I can... Because honestly, no offense. It's just so wholesome. I'm like, I don't feel like I want to give it a whole rating.
Give me a second.
Because everything you've shown me is cute. So if you show me a piece of porn, I'm like, oh shit. Then I'll properly give it a rating.
Pause to show pornography.
So, the whole story is 9 out of 10. Now, as for the whole rating, now that I know there's porn, see there's porn, I love, personally, that it's an option. That you don't have to read the smut if you don't want to. Like, if you just want a nice, wholesome story, sure. But this is a whole chat. So, I feel like the fact that we're not getting smut right away, I'm going to take a point off. Just because, like, I'm sorry. Based off the title of your podcast, I feel like I'm kind of expecting to see at least some really intimate moments. That are a little more salacious than just, like, gentle hand-holding. But again, I still think the story's great. 9 out of 10. Minor gripe with the porn, and this is just my own personal opinion. I feel like we have some unrealistic-looking women in one of the couples. Not in an extreme bad way, but in a way that I sometimes see people draw women when they're fantasizing about them that I really don't like. And I'll be more specific to you after the podcast.
I know what you're talking about. This is partially to be silly, and they recognize that it's being silly.
Right. Since this is to be silly, fine, but, like, it's just, like, it's one of those things that's, like, I don't like it. But because we have 3 female couples, and they're all 3 of varying different types, that makes it more passable, but I'm still taking a point off for that. So I'm going to say 8 out of 10 for whole. Like, smut's good. There's one little smutty issue I have a problem with. And then there's just, like, again, like, there's a very good chance you could miss this. And I think that's, like, if you're wanting an enticing story with oomph in it, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the chance to see it. So, like, that's my whole point, where it's just like, you kind of want some in the main story.
Read the porn. I cannot express you.
Yeah,
You have to read the
find
porn.
the porn, read the porn, because you're missing out if you don't get in it, and that's why it's lost the point, because it's not there to begin with. But it's still high rating. 8 out of 10 for whole, 9 out of 10 for story. This is a good story. Like, hands down. Sounds great.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, if you want more from Jackbull, you can find her on Twitter at Imbican. I'll spell it.
Whoa.
You can find her at MMMBCNN_.
You know what? Claps for that. How? Damn.
Yeah. She's done a handful of horny girl love shorts since then, but nothing that is super big or official, so nothing super long. However, you can look forward to seeing Sora and Haena in print soon and support her that way. Inklore Comics is going to be releasing the print English version of this comic.
Sorry, my brain is stuck on her at name. Do you think it stands for bacon?
I couldn't tell you.
Because now it kind of looks like bacon to me.
I couldn't tell you, dog.
Bacon. What lesbians taste like.
Stop. Ew. Gross.
Sorry.
Stop. Did you enjoy this and want more Whole? You can find us at our socials, Bluesky and Tumblr, at Whole-Chat. DMs are open, comments are on. We are very friendly, we promise. Email us if you need to, at whole.chat.69@gmail.com. And please, like, comment, share, tell your friends. We do this for fun, and we would like to have more fun with y'all. Our holes are wide open.
Okay.
Our friend holes.
Right.
Yeah, that
Our
hole.
social holes.
Yeah, my social hole's ready to get rammed. Anyways, thanks so much for listening, and tighten up.
Tighten up.